Hey, how's it going? So, I had a plan to talk about something completely else. The heck is going on with you now? And, I started watching this video. And it was an NDE video. And it was this man's experience when he briefly was dead and he met up with Jesus. And I will link it. It's a whole thing. It's very involved, but there must have been some download situation happening there. I'm gonna let you take a look at my signs, because this here is opinion commentary, and sometimes, and this is not a new thing for me, sometimes you find out you say something that you regret saying because it had an effect on someone else. An undesirable effect, I guess. Well, clearly. Because when I do this, or when I speak, period, it's never like on my mind to say something to hurt anyone, but I know that it's so easy to do that. So that's what I was saying. Like, it wouldn't be the first time that I said something that resulted in a way that I was not entirely happy about, because in this instance that I'm going to continue to describe, I offended, I guess, someone who I wanted to still be able to access on YouTube. And I'm sure it's happened on other social media sites that I've been on, where I've seen somebody that I was enjoying their content all of a sudden disappear, and I'm like, oh shoot, what did I do? So it's not only a new thing for me, although I really do my best not to do that. Like, I never want to offend people. Unless I mean to, unless I'm, trying to, but I'm talking about, that in itself doesn't happen very often. But anyway, so I was watching the comedian Godfrey. He had shorts from his own personal channel. And then I was watching one day, and the way he said something I was not, totally down with, and I don't think I, cursed him out or anything about it. I just was like, yeah, that, I don't even remember specifically what it was, but something about, it was a reaction that he was saying something, he was having a reaction to, and, I mean, it's not like I was trying to take that away from him at all, because you can't, he was expressing from his heart something, and I just remembered that something about the way he was saying it, I had something to say about it. It wasn't like, oh my God, I can never, see you again, or anything like that, but you can inadvertently totally screw up and say something that is, the worst to the person in question. So, evidently, I knew there had to be some kind of block function on YouTube, but I hadn't really seen it. And then after I had finished watching this video, or before I started watching it, I think this happened actually, I keep getting messages from people I don't know, talking about I can win money, and if I click a link, and I was just like, I don't want this. So I was like, I clicked 3 dots next to it, and a block came up. So I've looked for the block before and not been able to find it. But that's kind of my experience with technology. I stumble across things that are probably really obvious for everyone else. But anyway, when I found that, I was like, ooh, like I knew he had to have blocked me because I could find him like as a guest on other like on shows and stuff like that, but I could not find that Shorts channel. And I was like, ah, damn it, it's me and my big mouth again. So that, you know, when you fuck up like that, it doesn't feel great. But at the same time, like I said, this has always been a thing of mine. Like I'll just say not just anything, you know, but I will like blurt out something that is, I guess, truthful, you know, and like people don't want to hear it. And it's not even like I'm able to even be all like, I am going to, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, so the video though, it was, so the NDE video, it was really talking about, well, for one thing, he was talking about, Jesus was talking about his chosen people, which are black people. Again, I'm going to link it so you can just look for yourself. Oh, excuse me. Now I feel like I have to, I'm bilious. Okay. So, my tea is ready. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm watching the video and I'm thinking, this is like the stuff that I like to talk about. Not the chosen people stuff, but the way he's talking about the people that are in it. I don't know if I have actually gotten this thought out of my head, but I always feel like when conflicts between races happen, and especially when the people being accused of the racism are like, no, we're not, it's not that, and the people that have been racism against are like, yeah, it did. And then other people that were just looking were like, yeah, it did. So it's a weird thing where mainly the people committing the act are like, no, I didn't. No, it isn't. And that's just how it's survived somehow, the racism. But one thing the thing that I feel like I'm not sure I said is, look for the thing that isn't happening with that, because it's the weirdest thing. Like, we black people get blamed for like everything all the time, and mischaracterized, like nobody has a job and everybody's poor. That's not really true. Mostly everybody is working. That's always been the case. And then there, like amongst every population, there is some people that just working is not their thing. And then what are your alternatives? You like are siphoning off of somebody else, or doing that to the nth degree because you're stealing and doing other criminal things. So, but generally, after all of the crap we've had to take over all of the time we've had to take it in all of the places on the planet, not just in the United States, we still haven't, like, lost our minds. And I mean, in the United States, like, that's where I know the most about the struggle. We've been treated really horribly. You know, whole towns burned down. They brought in planes to bomb a town in Oklahoma because it was successful, all just to themselves. And, like, I'm sure they, as vendors and whatever, dealt with the outer community, but because of the way it was at the time, and kind of the way it stayed a lot, like, you didn't really almost need segregation, except for, like, in the white towns, if the black people went in, there's probably the worst times they had to deal with it was if they were hungry, they had to pee, or they needed a place to sleep overnight. But generally, everything was segregated anyway. Like, the black areas were the black areas, and the white areas were the white areas, and back then there was no gray area, kind of. It's not that much different today, I don't think. So that causes people not to really know what's going on with the other people, and then all of this storytelling and lore and generational, like, programming that sort of, well, not sort of, that is completely, like, it's not really true what's being said. Like I said, like, not everybody's unemployed. Not every woman has multiple kids with, no father, or multiple fathers, or whatever it is. That could be anybody, truly. Like, it's gotten, the black people have gotten that stereotype hung around their neck, and it's not like they're different from other communities. The same things happen, and then somehow it's not as big of a deal. Gee, I wonder why. What is the mitigating factor that makes one group of people the problem? Mainly it's the appearance that sets people off. That's the trigger. So, anyway, I'm watching this video, and it's bringing up stuff like that, like what I was just saying, to mind. But more and more lately, my Catholic, like, upbringing is sort of informing me to certain moments that are happening. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people that are, like, oppressed or actually possessed by, like, a demonic entity. Like, I can't believe I'm saying that, but I feel like there's this widespread thing of that actually being the case. And other things are, like, things I learned when I was in the Catholic school system with all of the church and so much. And then, like, your family, of my generation were brought up the same way. Like, went to the Catholic school, learned all of the things, there's, like, gosh, I don't even know what to call them, like, these benchmarks, or I guess benchmarks that you meet, where you have, like, your Holy Communion, and you have your confirmation, and I think there are, like, other minor sort of achievements along the way that are, I don't know, I guess you're learning. Like, I think of it as school, but I'm realizing those parts of it, you're kind of an acolyte, and so a lot of it is coming back today because the world is so whacked out and evil. It's like, some of it makes sense. Like demonic possession. So I am, like, kind of feeling timid to go on my other social media site, Blue Sky, and talk about this stuff, because I do have a lot of atheists follow me, but if they don't want to follow me because I'm like, wait a minute, now all of that religious stuff, some of it wasn't all terrible and misbegotten, because I think of things that are happening and some of it comes back to me and I'm like, oh, that's what they meant. No, I'm not going to specify. I'm trying to tell you that I'm, like, having a problem finding it to be okay to talk about religion, because that's essentially what it is. Like, I have been talking about the Essenes, and I have been, my cards, I got a deck for my birthday that are the declarations of Mary Magdalene, and I have been saying that where she's coming from, and even Jesus, in Mary's time, his time too, like in the Bible, there was religions. There were religions, but not like the ones we have today, like But I was gonna say none of that stuff's around, but that's not true. Uh, in the video, they call him the enemy, like the dark forces, the evil forces, and I call him the adversary. And the adversary has, picks people up along the way and like recruits them. And so, in this video, that's what Jesus was talking about. Like, so many people have like dark, faceless, soulless beings sort of hanging on them and whispering in their ears, and it's like evil influence, basically, and it's not just like what you see in like The Exorcist. It's like you can look in the video, but it's like a whispering in your ear to be like, I don't care if these people really need to go to the bathroom or it's 1,000 degrees and they would just like to come in and get something to drink, like buy something to drink, and you could just like have something in your ear to your mind going, don't sell it to them, don't even let them in the store, kick them out, make them just suffer, because hi, doesn't that sound like evil? So I don't even care if people agree with me. I was gonna say, you probably will agree. I don't care if you agree. I see it everywhere. I've seen it my whole life. And I didn't characterize it as such my whole life, but like lately I would characterize it as like people are acting, I've said it, they are acting like they're possessed. And it's not like acting on a stage, it's the act of having another being sort of controlling you and making you commit acts that maybe you wouldn't, or maybe you know better than to do, but that time, that trigger comes along, and next thing you know, you're discriminating and such. So I mean, that's what it is. But, I mean, it could also be, like, the scary, violent, gory stuff, too. Because we do have... I mean, what do you think it's in the serial killers and stuff like that? Like, what do you think is happening there? If you look at it through the prism of, like, demonic possession, it kind of makes a bunch of sense. But that's, like I said, that's, like, the movie way that it's kind of been like sold to us. It's also very, what is the word, mundane and boring every day. So, but it wasn't like we had like the whole civil rights era and, several decades of it being pretty good for people that weren't Caucasian men, basically. And then it just started to fall apart, and everything started backsliding, and here we are. So, that video made me think even more, like I should be doing even more than whatever I do to, I'm not going to say fight it. There are other people that are inclined to fight that can do that, but just, like, be another light. That is what I know I can do. So, I do have, well, it's today. I don't have I have a Mary card, but I wasn't really going to I wasn't going to do cards today or anything. So I just have the today. I'll just have to start over tomorrow if, whatever. So, the number 4, you can do with that, do what you will with that. Goodness gracious, learn how to speak. It says, strength is received when one awakens to thy truth. So I was like, wait, are you talking to me? And by that I mean, I don't know if I really got it across, but I have been kind of embarrassed to go further than just, like, there's 2 areas that I have cherry-picked out of Christianity, And those are what I'm going to stick to, and nothing else, and it's not religion, but I guess it kind of is. Um, the thing about it that, obviously I have said I went to church for several years. I went to a religious school that had a lot of church for many years of my youth, and then when the tuition could no longer be paid, so I only went for 5 years if you count kindergarten. So but once I couldn't go and started going to public school, I still I had close family that I always would visit on the weekends, and I would go to church with my cousins. And so it didn't ever really stop. I mean, that didn't go on for much longer. Everybody just kind of fizzled on it. But then as I got older and got into punk rock and started be understanding that there was a lot more to see than just what is fed to you by the news or whatever, or even by your family structure, because they don't necessarily deviate from what the news feeds them at that time. So and now too, but I'm talking about back then. So wait, I don't know what I was doing with all those tenses. Now I got confused. Well, anyway, I had the structural training. Number 4, foundation. So yeah, I guess that's what I'm working from, is the foundation that I got from my religious instruction. It's just, so I know the atheists. Atheists, I think, know more about the Bible and religion than people that I think call themselves religious, unless it's and it's gonna go back to what that video was talking about. There are black people that are so devout, they have those Bibles and they carry them around and can read them backwards and forwards. I was thinking yesterday about this. It's funny because I hadn't seen this video yet, and this was on my mind, and it has been for a little while, thinking about the household that I grew up in. And so I lived with my mom, who was single most of the time through her life, and we lived where her mom would come on weekends until she passed away. And she would always be sitting around. If she wasn't cleaning up or cooking or whatever, she would be doing her rosaries. And if you don't know what that means, there's these beads with a crucifix on them, and each bead is a prayer. And so she would sit there and say those prayers when she just wasn't doing anything. That's she didn't knit, she didn't really watch TV, she didn't read, she'd do those rosaries. And so that's kind of what I grew up for a long time with in the house. And then my great aunt, her sister, actually lived next door, and she would do her rosaries, as she called them. She would do it too. So like I said, it was built in to my upbringing, and that's how they wanted it, I'm sure. And that's the kind of thing that gave me a problem as I got older and got into these alternative spaces. And I just felt well, I don't like that programming. I don't like that indoctrination. But now I feel well, maybe there's a little bit of a benefit for having that foundation, because it, when I left the Catholic school in 4th grade and went to public school, I just cruised, I really didn't have to try until I actually got out of school. I finally tested out, because the classes were just, it was so boring. There was nothing to do. there was work to do, but I wasn't interested in doing it because I felt like it was, I don't know, I just couldn't take it seriously. It was definitely information that I didn't previously have, but I just wasn't, like the model of the learning was just not compatible with me. So anyway, why am I talking about that? Oh, the skepticism. I did get the skepticism, and then that led to more recent years with the internet, of me being able to run across like religious scholars who, they're not skeptics, but they're finding all this stuff that like contradicts accepted Bible scripture and gospels and stuff that was buried because the clerics at the time were told, you're not gonna have that because that actually gives power to the penitent, if you will, or the parishioner, and then we can't like make money off them, we can't like control them, and that's something that's done like in along with like governments and militaries and things. So they're part of a network of control and manipulation and narrative, what do you call, invention. So, but you know, so yeah, I have the embarrassment of like going there going, okay, I'm like gonna like say, yeah, this is religion and I am like 100% behind this actually, because of the detour, I guess you could say, that I took studying the Essenes. Not like in school, not like a professional academic or anything like that, just out of interest, because what they were saying was really ringing true for me, like making a lot of sense. This didn't really matter either way when I ran across it, but Jesus studied with them. That was like part of his early training or learning. I don't know. He went like to a lot of places and learned from a lot of different cultures and people. So, as he traveled, so, it's not really about him, although later his teachings, and particularly when he was with Mary Magdalene together, and they were the you know, he had the disciples and he was going around and like trying to preach his ministry, and the message was totally misunderstood. Like now today I can break it down and encapsulate it really easily, and the message was not, look what I can do, I am your God, worship me, follow me. That was never the message. The message was more like, look what I can do, you can also do that. And it was like when the Indians landed Columbus landed, and the Indians were like, they had no frame of reference for a white man or ships or hats and belt buckles, like none of it. So they were just invisible, I guess. This has been described, so I don't know how true it was, because clearly no one was there to tell the story back, but lots of people were writing stuff down in those times to record events, so there's probably at least a kernel of truth there. But it makes sense. I mean, if you just start suddenly, that would be us today, a lot of us, if we hadn't seen so many like UFO and horror movies and everything. That, I think, has softened us up for landing in like really strange times that are appearing now, happening now. So, I guess, I'm like going with this religion thing that's in the video. Why am I so embarrassed? I don't know. Well, I do know, because people scorn religious people. Do I scorn them? I I think it's more like well, I'm thinking of evangelicals. That's not. I'm thinking of not Catholics. So I have to be honest. I barely think they're Christians anyway. You call me a snob if you want. So yeah, but I think like what the Essenes were saying that they taught Jesus, and then what he was saying, and I almost, gosh, I wish I could have like heard it myself, kind of like, because it sounds like he was so captivating and magical, and everyone was like afraid of him, kind of, or just felt like they couldn't live up to what he was, and he was the whole time going, "No, you're made in the image of our Father." I don't know. It just seems like the connection didn't catch or something. But anyway, what made me come here and like want to say all of this was what it says in the video about the black people. And I'll probably get in trouble again and get blocked again. But I've been seeing a lot of videos, watching them on purpose, where the white people are like getting it. Like, then, we gotta stop blaming the black people. Like, it's not necessarily the message of precisely what's in the video, but it's something that is making it easier for them to hear something close to it, and not the dark being whispering, evil thoughts in people's ears, giving them, like, bad ideas, basically. There are videos where the black people are, like, I think, pretty clearly seeing these videos, but also having the experience themselves, but at the same time, you got the people that do have, like, it seems like 2 or 3 beings possessing their attention and kind of driving their actions, where they're, the ones that'll be like, "Get away from me," and they're like walking toward you, and they're like, "Don't put your hand in my face," and they're the one with the hand up, and the person is just like, "I'm not doing that." Why are you yelling at me? Because, and one's like the Caucasian Karen or whatever, and it's the black person, and the black person is just like, all right. Could be like the 3rd time it happened that day, and that could be any black person, really. I mean, I have to, again, caveat that the really terrible stuff I have not personally experienced, but doesn't mean I can't, doesn't mean I won't. It certainly has, happened to people very close to me in my family unit, and I've certainly seen it out in public. I've experienced it as well, the racism I'm referring to. And, I mean, my feeling is like, there's nothing, if you're going to do that, there's literally nothing I can do about it, All I can do is just keep on doing my thing and hope you don't interfere with me too much, But see, that's why I liked the Godfrey videos, because they were generally, it was the series, Leave Black People Alone. And that I can really relate with, because to the degree that it's happened to me, I don't need your help. I don't need your directions. I don't need your opinion. I don't, it's like, leave me alone. I think that's something we can all, as black people, understand. Like, just leave me alone. I'm not doing anything to you. Anyway, those 2 things, those 2 subjects have been on my mind, and I'm running out of steam now, so I guess I got it out of my system. They're not too far away from what I had planned for my next video, so I'm sure I'll be talking about it more, like tomorrow or Monday or something. Thank you, and good night.